But let's talk about spring ball here. Uh, let's talk about spring ball. What's going to happen, especially some teams, like I said, maybe the Hurricanes. Let's talk about even Ohio State changing their defensive staff around a little bit. What does that mean? As well as some other programs around here that's getting brand new coaches, or maybe some coaches already intact.
Yeah. So let's start with the home squad team. A new defense means a national championship if we play our cards right. Jim, listen. I'm trying to tell y'all that this is Ohio State kicked off spring today. Jim Knowles they call him an evil genius, but the one thing I love about him is he's a teacher. And he emphasizes teaching, and he emphasizes players, being confident in the multiple scheme and them, getting the best out of players. Obviously, his success at Oklahoma State has paid dividends. They were like the sorriest defense in the NCAA in the hundreds, and last year they had the 4th overall defense. Very aggressive. So, looking at that, and then Ryan Day talked about how they developed a leadership, chamber, so that what happened up in Ann Arbor does not happen again. So I'm looking forward to seeing them around Florida. So let's just look at some coaching changes. I'm trying to think. USC, one thing I'll be interested to see, they got this all-star coaching staff, and then they have all these players and all this stuff. I'm not going to lie to you. I do not see, this may be a hot take, and, I'm going to go quickly. I don't see USC winning the Pac-12 next year. I don't care how much talent they have. Watch out for Utah.
Utah tough. Utah tough.
Yes, I'm trying to tell you, man, watch out for Utah. Utah has a bunch of those dudes coming back, and they will knock the crap out of you. Very physical team. Huge majority of the team coming back. Staying out in the Pac-12, I'm looking at Oregon. New coach Dan Lanning. I think that that's going to be a fun matchup because they go against Georgia the first game of the season. Really looking forward to seeing that kind of physical style. They still have plenty of talent. They arguably have the best linebacker unit in college football with Justin Flo coming back and Noah Sewell. They have some talent up front. Offensively, looking to see what their identity is because God only knows what they were doing. I can't tell you. And then sticking to the hometown team, man. They have this civil war or whatever they call it. You look at UCF and you look at Florida. UCF has some horses this year. They have some horses this year.
Gus Malzahn did a great job. Yeah, he kept it rolling since Scott Frost days. Yeah,
you talk about somebody mastering the transfer portal. You got to give it to Big Gus, man. He did a fantastic job. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do. Obviously, they're opening up spring practice, and the biggest thing there is the quarterback. Who's playing quarterback because they got the kid from John Rice Plumlee from Ole Miss that adds an athletic element. And so if they can get back to what they were with Nick Marshall when he was at Auburn, when Auburn, beat Alabama and all of that stuff, I think they can be a dangerous team. And then quickly, the Gators, I think they're going to be a one to watch this year. Billy Napier is a really good coach. And the one thing that he did, and I always look to, is he started to establish relationships in the high schools. You know this as a coach. A lot of these coaches kind of come up on, I'm this, and that. No, you have to establish a relationship. And he has gone into Gainesville and some of the surrounding areas throughout the state of Florida, and he's in the thick of some recruiting battles. We'll get to recruiting on another show, but let's put it this way: the Gators could have a top 10 class, if not higher, this year. So those are just a few of the schools that I've been observing that I'm looking at, and that I'm looking forward to seeing. As the weeks go on, and heck, turned on the TV, somebody ran up in the stands. We had a little Ron Artest gig at a college basketball game.
Really?
Saw that. Yeah, the championship game is crazy. But that's who I'm looking forward to, man. That's what I'm looking out for so far.
All right. So here's the deal, right? As I think about it, and this is why I love to have you on here, because I have to say that's what I would say is my weak point is the recruiting process of following these players all over the place. And that's what I think you love to do. And I know that you love to do, not think, but know that you love to do because that's what you do. So I love to have you on here for that part. So coach me, coach, right? You're coaching me on it. And that's why we wanted to name this deal this, right?
Right.
Because one thing I always say about this game, Coach Hayes doesn't know it all, never claimed to know it all. And I love to learn. I love to hear these type of things. You know what I mean? And then vice versa, right? So what I soak up, I also like to give back out. Here's what I'm gonna say. I want to bring up one particular program because I'm very interested, and it'll be very interesting to see how they do. And that is Oklahoma. With Brett Venables. Brett Venables is a defensive minded guy. And it was interesting how he got to Oklahoma in my mind. Had never wanted to be a head coach, as he had stated. He loved doing defense, but I think he saw the ship sinking over at Clemson a little bit. You know, they lost the golden child and Trevor. DJU, I don't want to jack his last name up, didn't pan out to be what they thought it may be right then. They lost their running back, in Etienne. There were a lot of pieces that were missing. And he saw it kind of dwindling a little bit. And he said, you know what, it's my chance to take a shot. I would be so interested to see, because in my mind, and I know I'm completely wrong, as we look at coaches and coaches look at each other, we know guys who are head coach potential.
Right.
We know guys who are defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator potential.
Right.
And we know guys that are just position coach people. Nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that, right? Everybody has a part to do. But not saying they don't know the game, but some people really love just coaching their position. They don't want to have to worry about that side of the ball, right? And some people love just coaching their side of the ball. They don't want to have to worry about the entire team, the travel, shaking hand, kissing babies, all that stuff. And then some people want to be a head coach because they want the name on the marquee and they want to have it all because they're real leaders and planners and all of that stuff.
Right.
So I say all that to say this. It's hard for me to visually see Brett Venables as a head coach.
I agree.
Because it's when you see him on the sideline, I enjoy his energy from the coaching perspective because he's all in on the defense. He was like me. Can I tell you something? When I was coaching just the defense, I probably have seen, unless it was even in a blowout, bro, I coached to the whistle, to the zero. When I was doing the defense, I used to tell my coaches, what are you looking at? We pay Huddle $800 a year. It'll be on tape in 30 minutes after the game.
Yeah, or during the game.
Coach me, coach. Like I'm saying, you can watch that later. Right now, we got to get our boys going. I don't care if we up 48-0. And the reason I did that because I wanted to always have that habit. So when it came to tight games, that's what it was. And I see him in that light. So it's hard for me to see. I'll be very interested, and I'll definitely be checking a lot of their games.